Thank you to Carl for creating this challenge around the Tour de France. So we've got quite a few data sets to work with here. So the first one is the stages, so for each year, and then for each day, for each stage, we kind of have a bit of information about that stage in the race. And then you can see that we've got these stage types here, which have 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So this is like a ID field that we want to replace with the actual values for the stage type. So if we take a look in the stage type data set, then we have the stage type ID and the stage type themselves. So we can just join those two together quickly as a quick lookup table. We can see that we've got some rows being excluded from that initial stages data set. So let's take a look at which ones are getting excluded. And we can see that the stage here is rest days. So we're going to be leaving behind all the rest days in the data set, and that's not a problem at this stage. We're perfectly happy to do that, so we can continue on. So I just got rid of those stage type IDs and made sure that this stage type that remained had the correct naming convention in this step here. And then the next requirement is to identify which of the rows of data are time trials. So those are ones that have ITT or TTT in the stage number section of the stage field. So let's just write a quick calculation to identify those. So I chose to make that a Boolean field. So saying that if it contains ITT in the stage field, or if it contains TTT in the stage field, then it should be true. Otherwise it will come out as false. And so if I click on the true there, then I can see the correct values being highlighted. It's working the way that I want it to, which is great. Now we're going to look at this stage field, and we can see that we've got sort of the stage number and then a vertical pipe and the origin dash destination. So we want to split these into two different fields. So to do that, we go to the split values. We could try an automatic split, but I chose to go with a custom split just so that I could have full control over it. So on that vertical pipe, and we want to split off all those fields. So we hit the split button, and that will create those two fields for us. And that will look like these two fields here. So we have the stage number, we have the origin dash destination field. So we can get rid of that original stage field that we created the split from, and we can do a little bit of renaming there as well. And then to make sure that this is just a numeric field, then we can go to the options here and go to clean and remove all the letters, as well as removing the punctuation, and then also trimming the spaces, so we're just left with the numeric values. For the prologue, we will need to make that 0 by just double clicking, overwriting with a 0 there. I'm just going to undo that so it doesn't mess up all the subsequent changes in this step, but that's something that I do at some point as well, before changing everything to be a whole number as well once we've made all these changes. So taken out the letters, taken out the punctuation, trim the spaces, replace that with a 0, and then change the data type to be a numeric value. Whew, okay, so now we're ready to start thinking about bringing in the wins. So all of Mark Cavendish's wins. So we look at this data set, we can see the win number. So that's almost going in reverse chronological order. We can see what races they are. We can see the classes, the dates, and the categories. The class and the category and the date, they aren't things that we're going to use going forwards. Well, we will use an element of the date, should I say. And the number as well aren't things that we're going to be using in our output data set, but they are here for now. So first things first, we need to make sure that we're only including races from the Tour de France. That is something that would kind of get sorted out by the join later, but I think it's nicer to filter it out now so we're sure about the numbers that we have. So I chose to go to the filter options here, do a wildcard match, and type in the Tour de France here, and you can see that it's only going to keep those that are containing the Tour de France, if I spell France correctly. So if I hit done, it'll only keep the rows that are Tour de France, which is what has happened here. So we can see that 34 rows there are from the Tour de France, the wins that he has. Next stage, we're going to just split out this race field so we can get out that stage number again as well. So similar process to before with the split, so we're just using that split values to get the race separate from the stage number, and doing that similar cleaning so that we have that stage number field. I won't go through that again, but very similar steps to before. And then in order to join it onto this data set up here, we also need to know the year number. So we're just going to go to that date field that we have and convert those dates into the year number, and rename that field to be year. Cool, so now we're ready to do that join, and we're going to join those two data sets together. The join clauses that we're looking for are both the year and the stage number, so that we still keep that 294 row level of detail. And again, we need to change this to be a left join type rather than an inner join, so that we keep all of the races that Mark Cavendish did not win as well. Okay, so we've got quite a lot of fields now that are duplicated as a result of this join, so we deal with a few of them here by removing them. Well, it's just the year field at this point. I use this stage number -1, so this is where it's coming from the wins dataset, this field, so if it's null, then that means that Mark Cavendish did not win. If it has a value there, it means he did win. So I use that to create the stage 1 field. So basically just writing out as a calculation what I just said of if is null, that's stage number -1, then null, else yes. And then we can get rid of that field there as well. And then our final data set that we're going to bring in is the Grand Tour starts. And again, we want to filter this to just be the Tour de France, so we click on that and keep only those values. The only fields that we're going to be using from this, we're going to be using the season to join on to the other data set, but things like the number and the mountains, the youth, and the best stage result, those are things we're going to be removing from the data set for our output. But let's focus on just removing the Tour de France for now, keeping only the Tour de France for now, and then renaming those fields as per the challenge. And then when we go and join those together on the year equals the season, we can see we're still maintaining that 294 rows of data, which is exactly what we want. And then we can just remove any of the unnecessary fields so that it matches the output that we're looking for. So hopefully that was a bit of different data, a bit of real-world data that you can imagine yourself preparing in a bit more of a real-world scenario. So thanks very much, Carl, for that challenge, and thanks very much for watching.